The Bristol Dirt Race has been a controversial topic since it was announced before 2021. One contingent, including Richard Petty, said it was a step in the wrong direction. Conversely, another group loved the idea of trying something new and thinking outside of the box. NASCAR announced last week before the fall Bristol Night Race that after 3 years of holding a spring Bristol Dirt Race, the 2024 Spring Edition will return to the concrete. That move was heralded by many purists who felt like the governing body's decision had confirmed their long-held sentiment that dirt was never intended for the high-banked track in the Appalachian Mountains. However, the latest TV ratings for the 2023 night race were released this week, and looking back on ratings for the last 3 years of both the spring and fall races, it appears NASCAR might have just committed a massive mistake. The Bristol Night Race, what some fans consider the best race of the season, with some even suggesting worthy of crown jewel status, routinely delivers a short track special each year with plenty of beatin' and bangin', hot tempers, and a conflict or two. Hello Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick in 2021. While the event has produced entertaining races consistently, it hasn't necessarily translated into more fans watching at home. The most recent television ratings from Saturday night's race on the world's fastest half mile show that, and it's scary. According to Sports Media Watch, 1.562 million viewers tuned in to watch the race in the last great Coliseum. That number ranked 14th overall for the whole day, behind a dozen college football games or related activities, including post-game shows and ESPN's SportsCenter. However, that number is more troubling because it's a 12% decline from the 2022 version, which pulled in 1.776 million viewers. And last year's numbers were an even sharper drop-off of 20% from the year before, with 2.2 million watching in 2021. It's quite apparent the Bristol Night Race television ratings are headed on a sharp downward trajectory, dropping a total of 29% from 2021 to 2023. What's even more problematic is that those numbers look significantly worse when compared to their dirt brethren. If you'll recall, the inaugural Bristol Dirt Race in 2021 was delayed until Monday because of torrential rains and biblical flooding around the track. Despite that date change, 3.11 million fans managed to tune in for the weekday race. Many outspoken critics of the dirt even suggested how it was a novelty that produced curiosity, and the initial numbers were naturally elevated. They anticipated a drop in the second year, a drop that didn't happen. In 2022, the numbers on dirt went the exact opposite direction of the fall race, dramatically growing to an impressive 4.007 million viewers, or a 22% increase from the first year. That brings us to this year, the 2023 Dirt Edition. On April 9th, Easter Sunday, 3.45 million watched the first driver with a dirt background take a trip to victory lane after Joe Gibbs Racing driver Christopher Bell outdueled Tyler Reddick in Thunder Valley. While this year's viewership total from the dirt race is a 14% decline from last year's number, it's still more than double the number of people who tuned in to watch this year's night race. The one caveat critics will point out is how all 3 Bristol dirt races were carried on Fox, while the races in the fall were shown on NBC's cable networks of NBCSN and USA, resulting in the difference in viewership numbers. That makes sense, but there's more to this picture. In 2019 and 2020, Fox carried the spring race on FS1. It received 2.81 million and 2.93 million respectively. Those numbers are also from cable, but were notably higher than their fall counterpart and still lower than the dirt ratings. In the end, Fox opting to move the spring dirt race to its main channel while NBC showing the fall race on cable is a network decision, which ultimately NASCAR has control over when it signs the contracts with its partners. NASCAR is currently in the middle of negotiations with potential broadcast partners for the next TV package set to begin in 2025, and there's no reason to believe it couldn't request certain stipulations, including when and where the races are shown for maximum television exposure. Based purely on the numbers, the NASCAR fans watching on TV, which are considerably higher than those attending a race each weekend, are more enthusiastic about watching the Cup Series and other series drivers battle on the dirt than they are on the concrete. NASCAR's decision to remove the dirt in 2024 from Bristol has been made. There's no going back on it now. But when looking at those ratings from both races over the last 3 seasons, it does make one pause and wonder if the decision makers were listening too much to what an outspoken segment of racing fans had to say on social media, instead of paying attention to the numbers, which show that it's a no-brainer and dirt is the more appealing product.